Nightcap, hosted by Kerr. Casey.
Okay. Hey there, it's Kerr from findyourroar.com, and you are joining us live with Nightcap. I'm so excited to have you here tonight and to have my great friend Astra Titus here with me as well.
Hi all.
Hello. And we're also on Facebook live stream. Hello, Facebook live stream.
Hello.
Very excited to be here tonight, 2 nights before Thanksgiving, and want to really set the tone for an awesome holiday season, one that keeps us all kind of calm and in the moment and able to enjoy ourselves and enjoy everything that's going on around us. So what we set out to do earlier in the week was to, it's Tuesday, right? So yesterday we decided that as we're growing the show and kind of getting our sea legs and figuring out what we're doing, what's going to work, what, kind of really what my mission is and what I'm looking to do with all of this. I'm taking this one step at a time. And so I thought that what we would do would be to reach out to some people and talk about what kinds of stresses you might be under as you prepare for the holiday. And, much like a procrastination class that I scheduled for a year ago and everybody was too busy to sign up for, I think people are maybe a little bit too stressed out to absolutely engage with us and talk about what has them stressed out for the holidays. So we're just going to play along here and talk a little bit about expectations, about what is going to make this a really good holiday experience for you, for me, for you guys, and hopefully talk about some things that you can carry into the rest of the year as well. And we'll see what kind of engagement we get, what kind of questions we get, or comments or chime-ins from people. So we're looking forward. This is an experiment. This is episode, where are we at now? 4, I think.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just really want to put out there right now so that you know this as you're watching it, that this for me is an experiment in expansion. And expansion is something that I talk about all the time with my clients, with my 3-year-old son, with really anybody who will listen, is that, the best way to grow and to create the kind of life that you want to have, the life experiences, the circumstances, and the everyday moments that you have, is to keep growing. And the best way to do that, the scariest way to do that at the same time, is to just keep expanding yourself, expanding out of your comfort zone into your expansion zone. And I don't know about you, Astra, but one of the things that I have realized through this experience is that expectations really get in the way. That I had an expectation that if we got out there and engaged in social media and put out there like, hey, what are you stressed out about for the holidays, that we would get people who responded back to us and said, yeah, this is what's bothering me. This is what I need help with. And so we were really excited at the thought that we would be able to talk to some people live about this. And we heard a lot of chirp, 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 right?
Crickets.
A lot of crickets. So I just feel like, you know what the hell? I'm just going to sit here with my good friends, Astra, and Nola is in the background there, running things from behind the scenes.
But the beauty of it is that it gave us the idea to talk about expectations.
It totally did.
That very experience.
Absolutely. Because you know what? We're sitting here kind of stewing in a little bit of discomfort, but at the same time, recognizing that it's only by doing things that make you feel uncomfortable that you grow. And again, the best way to do that is with things that you want to grow into and that you want to master, you want to do better at, you want to, to play with and play in and be involved in. And so this is an experience where you get to watch me be super uncomfortable while I grow and while I, figure out what I'm doing with this and where I want to go with it. And you get front row seats at that. And my hope is that while you're watching me do that, you'll get inspired and find some ways that you can do that in your own life, in your own business, in your career, with your kids, with your fitness routine or whatever it is, because this is a universal thought that we're talking about, right? It's got applications across the board. None of this is just one dimensional. So,
yeah. And the key, I mean, one of the things you've already kind of said it, but one of the keys to freeing yourself to step into your expansion zone is to not hyper focus on the expectations of what you expect to, out of the experience.
Yeah.
So like you were just, this is the beautiful example of you kind of had expectations of one experience, but those weren't happening. And so instead you said, okay, well, I can still use this to grow. And you have to be kind of, a little flexible and figure out, okay, well, those expectations aren't going to happen. So what do I do? How do I use this to continue to expand?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like there's a great quote, easy for me to say, quote from Confucius that says, when it looks like you're not going to reach the point that you, and I'm paraphrasing this badly, right? But when it looks like you're not going to reach the goal the way that you had intended, don't change the goal, change the action steps. So that's what we're doing. Just change the action steps a little bit. And we're winging it. So welcome. Maybe I should change the name of the show to Wing It.
Winging it with Casey Kerr.
Right? With my wing women. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about expectations for holidays. Because I had kind of an interesting experience this year where my dad and my stepmom live in Florida. My mother passed away when I was 19, so she's not been around for holidays in a very long time. My husband and I both have very small families, and they both have, actually all of our in-laws have really big families with big celebrations. And so we kind of always find ourselves during the holidays, like in between the shuffle, trying to figure out where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And it's a little stressful, and at times it can get a little bit, we feel a little bit orphaned. So this year, as we were approaching Thanksgiving and then talking about Christmas, with Thanksgiving, we were like, all right, is anyone coming? What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And I have to admit, I got my undies in a bunch a little bit over a couple of things. And finally, I just said, you know what? I just need to let this go and just totally trust that no matter what happens, even if it's just me, Johnny, and JoJo, and Wolfie, we're going to have a really nice day. Mm-hmm. And so doing that took a little bit of, deep breathing and some, a little bit of meditation and a little bit of journaling. But I finally was able to do that. And lo and behold, my brother-in-law called and said, I definitely want to come over. And my brother called and said, we forgot to text you. Jenny thought she texted. I thought she texted. She thought I texted, whatever. So now all of a sudden we're going to have a mini full house for Thanksgiving. And I just found this out the other day. So rather than get all worked up about what I needed to pull together, I'm just really excited to be around the table with people that I love and just want to make a really fun day out of it. So,
and I think, you were able to create that attitude about it because you were able to let go of the, whatever the expectation for the perfect Thanksgiving is. And so rather than, sticking with, no one's called me, no one wants to call me, woe is me. And having that, those negative emotions drive you forward, you did that piece of letting go
Mm-hmm.
and saying, okay, whatever happens, it's still going to be great.
Yeah.
And then, and now it's evolved into something even bigger than what you thought to be.
Yeah.
So but you would never have gotten there had you not been able to let go of those initial kind of expectations.
Yeah. So the piece of this that's really important to talk about is kind of how you do that, right? How do you move from the negative to the positive? And the way that you do that, because I don't know about you, but I always say that I'm a control freak in recovery. Like everything is always clenched like this, right? And so now I'm like learning to loosen up, and that has not been an easy process. But so the first part of it for me was really recognizing that, it's okay for me to feel the way that I feel.
Absolutely.
It's okay for me to feel a little bit rejected, a little bit abandoned, a little bit like nobody wants to hang out with us. What's up with that? It's totally okay to feel that way.
And not try to push those feelings
away. Like allow myself to feel that. And so I did. That's not the same as wallowing in it and stewing in it and like telling the story over and over again to myself, to you, to, complaining about it. It means just
accepting that that's where you are.
Taking a few moments and saying like, oh, poor baby, poor baby. That's how you feel. That's okay to feel that way. And allowing yourself to just work through the feelings as opposed to telling the story over and over again. Because the story part of it is the part that gets dangerous, because now you're making somebody else the bad guy, and then there are enemies, and now you're working into grudges, right?
The story being, no one wants to come to my Thanksgiving, no one wants to,
so either I'm the victim or they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
And neither one of those is true, right? On any of the sides. And so, and I know that, and you know that, right? But that doesn't stop you from sometimes feeling kind of victimized or left out or, not thought of or, whatever. And then judgment comes in, judgment of self, judgment of others. And all of that causes more negative feelings. So the idea is to kind of tap into the way that you're feeling, allow yourself to feel it, accept that that's how you feel, because it's okay. You can't change the way that you feel. You cannot change the way that you feel. That is totally natural, and it's all right. Let it come out, right? Whatever you need to do. If you need to cry about it, if you want to scream into a pillow. I scream in my car all the time with the windows rolled up really loud. Because you gotta let that out of you. It has to have expression, right? And then after that, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? So when I said to myself, it's going to be totally okay, I didn't come up with a plan of what I thought okay was.
Right.
I didn't say this is going to happen instead.
Right.
I just said, whatever happens, even if it's just, I was going to say the three of us, but Wolfie's right here, so he'll be very offended. So it could be just the four of us. And that'll be totally fine. And just let myself get really comfortable with that, and moved away from feeling like a victim or left out, and didn't allow anybody else to become a bad guy. And so that doesn't mean that every time you do that, you're going to get the end result that you wanted initially. But it just,
again, you're letting go.
Yeah, you're letting go. You're so peaceful with it that it's okay no matter what happens.
I mean, I think, the bottom line is that you can't move through a feeling in order to, make peace with whatever the situation is, unless you allow that feeling to express itself. So by acknowledging that you're feeling that way, by doing some, like Casey said, some self-talk around, feeling compassion for yourself and not judging yourself for feeling that way, but allow that feeling to express itself. And then once that feeling's out of you, you're going to be in a much better place to then sit back and say, okay, I'm open to other possibilities. What else could happen? Yeah. And then, you're able to then, so you're moving from the negative beginning, allowing that negativity to express itself. And then that opens you to positivity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference, because let's face it, what determines your quality of life is how you feel moment to moment. And the only one who's really in charge of that is you, right? So we're getting prompts here from Nola, and we're trying to be really...
we're not discreet.
Yeah, we're not discreet at all.
When you see our eyes go that way, it's Nola holding up a sign.
This is total transparency. Can you hold that up again, Nola? We need the teleprompter. How do you change the words to feel okay? Good question. Oh. Thanks, Nola. So I think that I love that we're doing it this way, because we're all at different places in our journey. And so some of the stuff that I'm talking about is like, I do this full time. So I'm doing this every minute of every day, all the time. And so it's really helpful to be reminded, like, okay, not everybody is doing this. Not everybody is doing this every moment of every day. It's not their full-time jobs, right? So how do you find the words to make it be okay? Well, I think, you know what, you sort of look at yourself as you would like a baby or a child that you're taking care of, somebody that you love, or not even a baby or a child, somebody that you love who's in a very vulnerable position. You probably would never say to that person, like, snap out of it. What's wrong with you? Get over it.
Yeah.
WTF.
I have to say, I'll share that was one of the biggest things that Casey did for me. It was actually our initial call. I was originally a client of Casey's. And so that first call, and you asked me, or I said something to the extent of like, well, this is just my life, and I just have to settle for it the way that it is. It's kind of like, that's all, I can't go any farther from here. And you said to me, well, wait a minute, if your best friend said that to you, like, what would you say to her?
Yeah.
And it was, it's such a simple thing, but it really, like, it changed everything. Cause I was just like, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't tell her to settle. I wouldn't. So framing it in the sense of, how would you approach someone that you really love and care about if they're struggling in the same way that you are?
Mm-hmm. The first thing that you would do would be to have compassion for them, would you not?
Yeah.
I have a friend Stephanie Neal, who from South Shore Woman, who may or may not be listening now, but has been gracious enough to share my videos with people. And I always remember her saying that that's one of the things that she says to her friends when they're super tough on themselves, is she says, don't talk to my friend that way. Mm-hmm. Don't talk to my friend that way. And I love that, because the truth is that you would never talk to the people that you love the same way that you talk to yourself when you're being hard on yourself. And I don't know if you know this, but those of us who are really, really hard on ourselves, we do that because we think that motivates us to become better versions of ourselves. The truth is, it doesn't. It doesn't make you a better version of yourself. What it does is it makes you a more weaker, broken down, vulnerable, beaten up version of yourself. So if you take that broken down, beaten up, vulnerable version of yourself and you throw her into the fray, right? You ask her to do these really tough things, these things that she's been afraid of for so long, no matter what it is. How well do you think she's going to fare? Right?
Right.
Not very well, right? I mean, look at the way that people train for the most important experiences of their lives. They take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. They eat well. Yeah. They rest, well, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. They drink plenty of water. Mm-hmm. Look at athletes when they're preparing for the Olympics. Mm-hmm. My God, you never see Michael Phelps or Serena Williams without their headphones on. Mm-hmm. And I've never been inside their headphones, but I assume that their headphones are telling them how fabulous they are. How can we let go of that habit, though? Am I capable? Yeah. Yes, you are capable. This is more Nola prompts. Nola! Yeah. So, yes, you are capable of that. And how can you do it? Is you start to look at yourself as a friend. You start to see yourself as another person, and you start to recognize that no matter what you're doing or not doing, the way that you're judging yourself and talking to yourself is doing more damage than anything else. So even if you're unable to take action, even if you're unable to do the things that you have on your to-do list, and whether that's for planning for the holiday or in your business or in your career or with your kids or working out or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what your it is, that what you need to do is get rid of the judgment, right? So first, when you catch yourself saying something nasty, mean, and rotten to yourself that you would be devastated if someone said to you, and you would never say to someone that you love or care about, as soon as you catch yourself saying that, just stop and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I don't mean that. Let me reframe it. Let me rephrase it. Let me say something loving. Like, find something loving about yourself. You have to give yourself compassion. I have a client in one of our groups who is an amazing woman who does a lot of amazing things for lots of people, not just her kids and her husband, and the customers that she supports, but her, she's in the ministry, and so she serves a whole bunch of people, and she is so tough on herself, so hard on herself, so just always about what she's not doing and not doing well, and she cannot see all the time how amazing she is, right? And so she's constantly beating up on herself in ways that she would never do for other people. And we had this whole sort of Facebook chain going the other day in our private group, talking about how no matter what you do or don't do, as disappointed as you might be in your own behavior for either doing something that you wish you didn't do or not doing something that you should do, none of that matters as much as the fact that when you judge yourself,
it tears everything
tears everything down. And you need that strength. You need that strength, because when the shit hits the fan and when the going gets tough and when you need to boot and rally, you have to be strong, and you can't be that way if you're beating up on yourself.
So I think that the key that you're working towards is ultimately is self-acceptance, right? In any given moment. And so it's like Casey said, stopping when you hear yourself, saying bad things, but then, stopping saying the bad thing, but then also not beating yourself up for saying the bad thing. I mean, I'm supposed to be nice to myself. Oh, darn it. I'm not good at this. That you have to just accept that you are a work in progress, and that you are changing, and that where you are today is this amazing platform that you are springing off of, and evolving. And so you wouldn't have this chance to evolve if you didn't have the things that you wanted to change. So accept the bad and, the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself, and in any given moment, and recognize that if, even if you just did something that you consider horrible, you recognized it, you accept that, okay, I did that, I accept that, but that doesn't mean that I want to stay in this place. That doesn't mean that that's the person that I want to be. And then you use that to say, okay, you know what? I'm changing. Just by this very fact that I noticed that I did this thing and that I want to change, I'm already in process of changing.
Exactly.
And so that moves you forward rather than beating yourself up for, why did I do this thing? Why did I do this thing?
So and this is the beauty of it, even when you have an F up, even when you beat yourself up, even when you screw something up, you make a big mistake, it doesn't matter how big it is, you can start to look at that as an opportunity for growth and for transformation. Just that very thing. So even the biggest snafus and kerfuffles, or I'm trying to think of other fun words to describe them as.
But even F-up is really the best,
right? So any of those things will help you. They can be like the platform that allows you to say, awesome, you know what? While that sucked, this is a platform for me to move forward now into giving myself the kind of forgiveness and acceptance and compassion that I need to move forward. And then as Astra said, recognizing that just in that moment, by that flicker of recognition, you're already moving forward. You're already making progress, and you're already transforming.
Yeah. And that that it is your choice at any given, in that moment and moving forward, it's always your choice. That was one of the biggest things that I had to learn. It was my choice to love myself. It was my choice to accept myself. And so it's not, I'm the only one that can do that for myself.
Yeah.
So in that moment when I'm feeling horrible about myself, I say to myself, I'm choosing to accept what I just did, and I'm choosing to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're coming around to I was just fast, right? And it's funny because Jojo and I were playing with his clock toy tonight to teach him how to tell time, and he kept saying 25 past, 8:55, 9:15, whatever. So now it's 9:26. So with our last 4 minutes, I just want to say that we're building a tribe here, right? We're building a community, and we're building a village. And you know what? There's a difference between the way men do things and the way women do things. And I was watching on Good Morning America, like, I forget if it was yesterday or today, but they were talking about how women are incredible multitaskers, and it's been scientifically proven. And on any of those channels where they have the tickers, there's like 2 tickers, and then somebody else is talking and they're saying different things. Women can watch those and they're like, yeah, I can tell you exactly what was said on all 3 things. I can talk on the phone. I can watch my kid. I can listen for the doorbell. I can type an email. I can do a million things, right? Guys don't do that. So because we have that ability, we think that we have to do everything by our freaking selves. And you know what? We don't. We don't have to do it by ourselves. I spent 10 years trying to build this business and this mission by myself. And I have moved more mountains in the past 6 months with a team of awesome wing women than I ever did on my own. And yes, I have evolved during that period. So I have grown, and I have more to bring to the table now than I did 10 years ago. But you know what? So do they. And the point is this: it takes a village. So come and join our village. We have lots of amazing stuff to share with you, to help you with everything from working your business, working your career, making yourself a better parent, getting yourself in better shape, getting your money together, all of that, because it all starts from believing in yourself. And there are so many things that contribute to that. And every single week we are talking about another piece of the puzzle. So you might be looking at it now and it's like, it's all scattered. But I promise you that if you hang here with us and you share this with your friends, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. It takes a village, right? And we're building one. And I said this in the second week, I think, our second call, that we're actually really looking for people who are practitioners and who are service-oriented business owners. Even if it's a hobby and you're looking to turn it into a business, we want to help you. We're building a platform to do that. So if you're somebody who's looking for your audience, reach out to me. If you're somebody who has an amazing something to offer and you're trying to build your tribe, reach out to us. We can help you do that, because we're building an amazing tribe with people who have lots of experience. So you know what? You must have questions. You must have things that you want to know, stuff that has, piqued your interest or made you wonder, what the hell is she talking about? Even if it's that, I don't care. Engage with us. Send me your questions. Nola, where do I tell them to send them? What do they do? Comments or direct message. I hope you know what that means.
That's why we love Nola.
So we're on, this is being broadcast over a whole bunch of different platforms, and certainly we're on Facebook Live right now. So send us your questions, send me your comments. You can always reach me by email if you don't know how to do that. Casey@findyourroar.com. I'm so glad that you were here with us tonight, and it's been such a great time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And enjoy yourself. We
Let
love
go
you.
of the expectations.
Wow.
Expect the best.
The best.
You've been watching Casey Kerr's Nightcap here on New Earth International.
Nightcap. Cheers.
Cheers.